With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There we go. We are live. AEW Dynamite went off the air with a crimson mess. It was AEW Bloody Dynamite tonight. It was a bloodfest all over the place. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in here for the AEW Dynamite recap. Started off MJF, the promo from his collision, and then Will Ospreay comes out and cut a good promo content-wise, but it felt choppy. And again, I don't know if it was meant to be that way or what, because Ospreay usually cuts fantastic promos. So not sure where the disconnect, if there was a disconnect, maybe I read too much into it, but the delivery felt a little choppy, but it got out the everything that he represents, you know, the foundation of AEW, which is where the best wrestle. MJF, you know, he's got more talent in his left testicle than MJF has in his whole body. MJF's still mad because, you know, the bidding war that Tony Khan brought guys to elevate AEW instead of signing guys like him to bury it. Like, there was a lot of stuff going in and around. Then the MJF music hits. Of course, he's not coming down. It's scumbag MJF. He is back. He's in the back sipping on wine. And of course, you know, he just tells, you know, Will, you're a joke. You're a dancing monkey for the fans. You're going to move on to the next flippy guy tomorrow. But he's always there. He always stays there. And then the interesting thing, and listen, I understand it is the 250th episode. And actually, you know what, man? A lot of stuff booking-wise tonight, they set up a lot for All In, but a lot of it kind of, I don't know, not head-scratching, but now MJF will take on Will Ospreay next Wednesday on Dynamite. The 250th episode. You're going to get MJF against Will Ospreay to start the show. And the winner of that will now face Pac at All In because he won the global four-way match, which gets the match against the winner of Will Ospreay and MJF. I don't understand why that match is not at the main event. Maybe it gets changed. Maybe some other stuff happens. I don't know. But you had the winner of the global four-way match went on for the international title at All In. Tonight you had the Owen Hart tournament winners, Bryan Danielson and Mariah May, advance to All In to take on the champions. You have now, so now you'll have Swerve against Bryan Danielson, which is one of the matches I think that everybody will say that's a good match. Mariah May will take on Toni Storm. I mean, they just blew that to hell tonight. Mariah May wins. If you haven't watched it, I apologize, but this is a recap show, so there's going to be spoilers. Mariah May just beat the shit out of Toni Storm after the show. They're walking back up the ramp. She gets the belt, nails Toni Storm, starts whipping her with it, hits Luther, it puts Luther through a table, bloodies Toni Storm, beats her with the high heel, then gives her the kiss and rubs her face on her bloody face. Like, I knew that was going to happen. Mariah May was going to end up becoming the heel, but why not let it play out at All In? I feel like a lot of stuff is being rushed instead of letting it play out. You had a great story going, and it will continue to be a good story now, but to turn the snap like that tonight, to do that, it's like, I feel like you could have built this up August 25th. Today's what? July 10th? A month and 15 days? And you could have built this up slowly. Things happen. They have tag team matches. You know, maybe things don't go the right way. And then by the time you get to All In, you have the turn. But to do it tonight, hey, it is what AEW does. We're the best wrestle. So after the presentation to Bryan Danielson wins. He beats Hangman Adam Page. We'll get into that in a minute. Swerve comes out. I thought they were going to have Swerve and Bryan Danielson kind of go face to face. They really don't. They just have Bryan Danielson come to the ring. Swerve come to the ring. They go to break. Bryan Danielson's not in the ring when they come back. Maybe the live audience got a little bit of interaction. I don't know. We did not see it on the TV. At least I did not. Then Swerve, talks about how, he can't wait to take on Bryan Danielson. And then he talks about the three faces of AEW being himself, Will Ospreay, and Okada. And here goes the second match for next week on 250. Swerve Strickland, champion versus champion, challenges Okada, and it now has officially been signed. So now you have Will Ospreay and MJF, and you have Swerve Strickland taking on Okada next week on the 250th edition of AEW Dynamite. Also of note during that match, during that statement, they finally, in my book, finally put a stamp on a team AEW. You got your world champion now being the leader of your team. Hey, kudos. Kudos. Swerve Strickland now into Blood and Guts. And what's interesting is right after that I put down that this means that Hangman will join Team Elite to get revenge on Swerve. Later on in the show, Hangman Page blows by Renee. Renee's like, hey, you're going to show me some respect. He just knocks on the door. Okada comes out. He's like, can I help you? Hangman tries to walk through him. Of course, Okada doesn't move. He said, can I help you? The EVPs come out. And he says, I'm in. So Hangman Adam Page will now be the fifth man on Team Elite. So you got the EVPs, the Young Bucks, Jack Perry, Okada, and Hangman Adam Page. That's your five for Team Elite. Right now we have two on Team AEW. The match is 2 weeks away, but you have Swerve Strickland and you have Mark Briscoe. So you have the AEW champion and the Ring of Honor champion. That's your Team AEW right now. 3 members still to be announced. They did a pretty cool Acclaim video going after the EVPs, kind of responding back. They had the Samoa Joe, Chris Jericho fight. I feel like, look, the match was great. The match was a great match. I mean, it was just beat the crap out of each other, right? You get to the back, and of course, you have the Big Redwood, Big Bill, and then the Rotten Apple, Brian Keith. They get involved, and then they put Samoa Joe on a forklift and drive the forklift through the wall. They come back from break. Joe's getting loaded in the ambulance. It drives away, pans over. There's Y2J. There's Jericho, Learning Tree, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. And they're like, bye, Joe. Bye, Joe. And listen, I disagree with them having Jericho in the match, but the match was good. And it got over Joe being, taken out and they got involved. I don't understand why it couldn't have been Brian Keith or Bill, because ultimately you were just luring Joe into a trap. But again, I feel that Jericho should be an attraction, not wrestle every week. And I'm probably in the minority on that, but I love the Learning Tree gimmick. I love how he's reinvented it himself again for the umpteenth time, but I don't need to see him wrestle every week. But it set it up. Joe gets taken out, taken to the hospital. Then, of course, you had the Global 4-Way. Pac ends up winning that. And, of course, now he will go on to All In to take on the International Champion. So now you've got that match set up now for All In. So when you look back at it, and we'll cover kind of the All In card in a minute, and then also the Dynamite 250. You had Mercedes Moné comes out for her double celebration because she didn't get enough last week. She's about ready to toast the crowd, and Britt Baker's music hits. Damn, AEW security is bad as WWE security. They just get super kicked everywhere. And Britt Baker makes it into the ring, but of course by then, Moné has ran into the crowd. She kind of looks on from the crowd. They have eye contact back and forth. And, of course, she leaves Britt Baker in the ring to the DMD chants. And I like where this is heading. Look, I don't think that they need to have a lot of one-on-one physical contact. If you want to have somehow like a tag team match at some point, I don't know who you get to side with Moné, and I don't know who you get to side with DMD. But then you could at least have them kind of in the ring against each other. I don't need, before All In, I don't want to see just brawls every week. If you want to keep this going, this little thing that they're doing right now every week, I'm okay with that right now. But again, you have a month and 15 days. You have over a month before you get to August 25th. So they're going to have to, try to slow walk this a little bit more. Then they go to the back, and Brandon Cutler's getting beat up by Darby Allin is back. And he says, Elite, Dynamite 250. We're just getting started. And he also mentioned Jack Perry. So do we get a TNT title match at 250 as well? It feels like they are throwing a bunch of just, and again, that's what AEW does, right? It's matches. They're about the wrestling, not necessarily the storytelling. They do have stories going through, and the one we're going to discuss right now is one of the major ones. Mariah May. She wins the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. She will now face Toni Storm at AEW All In. Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander did get involved in the match. Ended up not being the reason she lost, but they did continue that, which I like the way they did it. The fact that, it was close to her costing her the match, but it didn't. So then she ends up getting pinned by Mariah May. And again, at this point, Mariah May is still the happy-go-lucky Toni Storm disciple. Then they start heading up the ramp. They get to the top of the ramp and a belt to the forehead of Toni Storm. And then from then, it was just a blood fest. Let's see, who all bled tonight? You had Danielson. You had Paige. You had Toni Storm. Somebody got the hard way in the Claudio match because it was on the back of Kyle Fletcher. So out of like the 4 matches you had about 4 people busted open. So pretty good rolling there. So AEW 250 now is kind of shaped up through tonight. To start AEW 250, it will be MJF versus Will Ospreay for the international title. I am, for one, hoping this is a total, I don't know, man, just on a Dynamite. And the winner versus Pac at All In, when you could have had this match at All In. Like something, I mean, again, they have a long way to where they can, there going to be twists and turns on this, but it just, man. Then you also have Swerve versus Okada, champion versus champion. Darby Allin will also be there. We'll have to see, of course, the Elite will be there. The other members of Team AEW will soon need to be announced because they have this next week, and then they have Nashville, which is Blood and Guts. Blood and Guts is only 2 weeks away. Team Elite is all ready. Team AEW, you're still missing 3. And now, right now, as of tonight, with the Owen Hart winners, it looks like AEW All In will be Swerve versus Bryan Danielson, Tony Storm versus Mariah May. It looks like we're going to get Will Ospreay or MJF versus Pac. It looks like we're probably going to get the Acclaimed against the EVPs, but we'll see how that rolls out. And then you also will be getting Britt Baker, Mercedes Moné. So all in all, man, again, what AEW does is the in-ring phenomenal night. A lot of blood, but you finish the Owen Hart tournament. I thought the storytelling in the Bryan Danielson Hangman Adam Page match, fantastic. I thought the final match was fantastic with Willow and Mariah May. Mariah May snaps at the end. But all in all, look, man, it was a good Dynamite. I feel like some of their stories are on hyperspeed. And then you have, Dynamite 250 next week. And I mean, Swerve versus Okada, MJF versus Ospreay. That's the Dynamites. I don't want to use the desperation word, but I feel like it's a bold move. Bold move. We'll see what happens, and we'll see if it pays off and where it leads to All In. And again, you have a lot of time in between to where, Pac gets injured and MJF takes his place at there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that necessarily just because these matches are booked, but AEW usually doesn't pull that. That would be a WWE move. The AEW usually, if they, put the match on the card, usually get the match. So it will be very interesting to see where we head to as the road to Wembley is now starting to be seen and laid out in front of us. And Pac also said he wants his Wembley moment. Will he get it? A lot going on. AEW Dynamite will be back Friday. SmackDown. We will have the report for you right as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. What is the fallout from Money in the Bank? Solo Sikoa, Cody Rhodes, and Tiffy time, baby. But this has been your AEW recap. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. If you're on X or Twitch, please jump over to Stanley Media House Network YouTube channel. Under 200 to go to get to 1,000. I appreciate everybody that's hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me. And also, don't forget, follow me on social media at Sean_Stanley11. That's on XIG Threads. And of course, Stanley Media House Network on YouTube. And we also got a Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, hit me up. hit the like, join in. And also on the YouTube, when you hit the subscribe, you subscribe to the channel. Remember, check the community. I post questions every once in a while, trying to, build up a little bit of content and also interaction with everybody, because I want it to be a fun, interactive community, talking AEW, WWE, NXT, TNA, any wrestling we want to be discussed. Let's talk it. Let's have fun. Let's be respectful, but let's do it. This has been the AEW Dynamite. I felt like this was blood and guts tonight on AEW Dynamite, but we'll see how gruesome they get in a couple weeks in Nashville. But next week, it is episode 250. MJF Ospreay kicks it off. Okada Swerve, champion versus champion. Did they go overboard? I'll let you know next Wednesday night, right after Dynamite.